The Islanders' struggles on the power play in the first 3 games of this series were a footnote to 3 Islander wins. Now it's the headline as they go 0 for 5 and fall by 1.
And it plays such an important role. Yes, it's, a goal's a goal and it counts on the scoreboard, but it can give you so much momentum and it can take away momentum from the opposition. So the Islanders, when the game was really still on the line, and it was for the entire 60 minutes, obviously, they could have changed the game the way it was flowing. And really, the Washington Capitals, from the 10-minute out mark on the first period, really controlled the game, and they controlled it through a couple of different elements. But the power play could have really been a game changer for the Islanders. Instead, it's really helped the Washington Capitals instead.
So that's one reason why this loss stings. The other is because the Islanders had control of this game after the first 10 minutes. We were talking about what a great start it was. They were up 2-0.
Well, it couldn't have been any better. They came out of the gate. I thought that was going to be an important element for them, and it was initially, but they thought that the Washington Capitals are going to go away. Well, that was the wrong decision right there. And it's Pageau who gets it started. Good hard work in behind the net, wins a battle. That's something that didn't happen as the game progressed. Gets it back to the point. Mayfield gets himself in a position to shoot the puck, and Pageau gets a stick on it. And the Islanders are off and running. It's 1-0, and they were dominating the Washington Capitals. They were out shooting them rather profusely. And then Mat Barzal, he was skating well, a little bit of open ice. He lost his open ice as this game proceeded, and a lot of give and go with Nick Leddy, and the Islanders had a 2-0 lead, and everything looked pretty rosy for the Islanders. And then all of a sudden, the Islanders forgot how to play hockey.
Mat Barzal and J.G. Pageau, the goal scorers. Now 4 goals in 8 playoff games for J.G. Pageau. Mat Barzal, who had the overtime winner in Game 3, scores again in Game number 4. Well, Todd Reardon took his time out after that second goal, and you could see the game start to get more physical. And as the Washington Capitals got more physical, the Islanders got more frustrated. The penalties started to mount, and when the penalties started to mount, the game shifted towards the Capitals.
It really did, and the Islanders lost their focus because they started taking some penalties that they didn't need to take. I mean, yes, Mayfield was under pressure, and certainly it dumped it all over the boards, but the Washington Capitals were not going to win playing hockey, so they said, well, you know what? Let's try and beat up on these guys. Let's try and get these guys off their game. If we can intimidate them a little bit. That's a low hit by Gudis, and that hurt Clutterbuck, but there's a cheap shot by Wilson. I didn't mean to. Another cheap shot by Wilson. The referee's watching. So the Washington Capitals took advantage, Brendan, because you mentioned it. There was no price to pay. They weren't worried about having to kill a penalty because the Islanders' inability to score power play goals allowed the Washington Capitals to be a whole lot more physical. You score 1 power play goal on a cheap shot, well, it changes the whole game because, okay, we can't do that anymore. Islanders never were able to complete that part of the game, and they paid the price. They lost the game.
And the Islanders, on top of not being able to score on the power play, started taking penalties of their own. They took 4 minor penalties in the second period, and 1 goal was scored 4-on-4. The other one was 5-on-4 on the power play, and the Capitals erased that 2-0 lead.
Well, then exactly right. And then they've got offense. There's no doubt about it. And something woke them up, Brendan, and maybe it was the physical play, because in order to hit the bodies, Brendan, you have to be able to skate. And good play by Kuznetsov as he's able to beat Adam Pelech. Pelech a little bit flat-footed, and Kuznetsov just drives right to the net and beats Varlamov. And now the game is a whole different game. The Islanders take some power play. Allow the Washington Capitals to get back into the game. That's a screenshot from Ovechkin. Tough enough to stop him when you can see it. Impossible to stop it when you can't see it. And the grade 8 is tied the game up. And really, the Islanders never got back on track for the rest of the game. And they had some opportunities. This is a 2-on-1, so the Islanders get caught. I said I would rather Tom Wilson has that shot than Ovechkin. I would have played a little bit differently, but I'm in an easy chair, and Taves has got to make a decision, wants to let his goaltender play that. And it was a bit of a lucky goal, too, because it went under the arm of Varlamov. But Alex Ovechkin, he's the captain, and he's not going to let his team go away quietly.
And you see what he's done over his career and where he ranks among the Washington Capitals franchise. His first goal of the game was his 68th career playoff goal. That tied him with Gordie Howe and Sidney Crosby. He then passed them with his game-winning goal in the third period. So it's Alexander Ovechkin leading the way for the Washington Capitals comeback. He's got 4 goals in the series as the Caps score 3 unanswered and take Game 4 3-2. And Butch, now it's a series.
Yes, because Washington now thinks they can win, and now they're looking at it like, okay, now we're on a mission, right? hardly anybody ever comes back from being down 3-0 and 3-0, and now we have a chance because it's 3-1. It's the old cliche, we're going to take one game at a time, but right now, they outplayed the Islanders. I said before this game started, what makes you believe that the Washington Capitals can win a game? Because they haven't showed me anything. There's no part of the first 3 games that looked like the Washington Capitals were interested or that they could beat the Islanders. So what were they going to grab a hold of? Well, now they have something to grab a hold of because they completely dominated the game. They spotted the Islanders 2 goals, and then they completely took over the game. They were the much better team for 50 minutes, and now they have something to grab a hold of, and they're going to, I think, be saying, we can beat these guys.
Day off tomorrow, Game 5 coming up on Thursday.